Yeah, somebody's been patient with us. I think they went on the air. Area code 609. Would you have a comment? Tell us where you're calling from and your name. Area code 609. Okay,
you are now in the host queue.
Inshallah, we want to bring to you, we're going to end the show brother to brother, and inshallah, we're now going to bring to you Imam FaheemShuaibe's of the Sacred Life Project. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum to all. And of course, we're going to have to recognize that this is exactly at the time of Fajr prayer for the folks on the West Coast. So I don't know. We'll work out something where we'll have some kind of interlude maybe next week, because I think it falls right like 5 minutes. The time I should be calling in is right at the time the adhan goes off. So maybe we can play a short clip of Imam Muhammad of some regard. Let's take for example.
That was exactly what I was getting set up. I was getting that set up.
Okay, good.
You know.
So we'll do that. So and then we'll just modify our intersections at that time. But alhamdulillah, so we are here. Yes, this is AM360, and this is the Sacred Life Project. I am Imam FaheemShuaibe's. We're going to pick right up where we left off last week on the subject. So those of you who have this document, and those of you who don't, aclearunderstanding.net, go to the front page of aclearunderstanding.net, and there should be a folder in the opening page that says the AM360 file. Open that up, and you should be able to pull a document out of that file. In any case, it's on that front page. I'm pretty sure I put everything in that folder, but if I didn't, then that means it's still there for you to see and be able to download. For right now, we're basically starting on page 7 of that document, and my hope is that we'll finish this document today, and then we will, after today's program, upload the next document that will provide the basis of our presentations. Then I'll try not to go over everything that we've been covering, so as to bring up anybody who has not been with us. Inside of that file, you can also find the audio files for this presentation as well, so you can catch up that way. But we want to move on because there's a lot of material that we need to move through, because ultimately I want you to understand that there's the public side of this project, and the public side of this project is the invitation to those of you who are listening, inviting you to be a part of the research team, very much like Wikipedia. Wikipedia is really a public encyclopedia. It's an encyclopedia where people who have expertise in certain areas, they're invited to put that information online, and those people who have certain knowledge that may qualify or edit some of the content that's there, the public is free and open to do that. So, and everybody is verifying everybody's information and challenging everybody's information, and there's a sort of consensus that develops around the information, and many people go to Wikipedia as a source of information, and it's useful to that extent. And so what we're saying, I'm only using that as an analogy so that, or as an example, so that we can understand that ultimately that's the goal of the project. The goal of the project is to get people associated with the language of Imam Muhammad to know how to research the language of Imam Muhammad and focus that research into the language of Imam Muhammad in such a way that what will result is the blueprint, the insights by which we can know how best to conduct every aspect of our work for the Imam. And I'm going to go back to the example that we ended with last week so as to underscore that point. And we just gave as an example what Imam Muhammad talked about in one setting, in one situation with regard to education. But inside that one setting, that one situation, he gave a major maxim, a major principle that should guide our curriculum development in education. And when a person knows how to go back and look at, with that focus, the many other transcripts and many other lectures of Imam Muhammad, with the intent to extract from it the principles, the maxims that should form the ground or the foundation for our approach to that field, and in this example, education, then that means that ultimately we'll be able to put together a guide, a recipe for educators who want to educate in the language and the logic and the methodology of Imam Muhammad. And so then it's given to them. It's given to them to do that. And then we do this, and I should say, we do the same thing for education. We do the same thing for business. We do the same thing for politics. We do the same thing for culture, all by knowing how to extract from the language of Imam Muhammad that thread, that line of knowledge, that line of logic that provides the framework by which we know how to calculate or evaluate what's the right thing to do in that field as per the language and logic of Imam Deen Mohammed. And I'm saying this is all knowable. And I'll say this now. I'm already doing this with people in the Imam class in Oakland, and that's kind of a revelation. A lot of people don't even know I have an Imam class because it's not a public thing. So it's not, okay, let's move on. So it's like, when we do that, we focus on a particular project, because my object, even though this is public, this is kind of a self-sorting project, meaning that if you're not really serious, you're not going to hang out with this. If you're not serious, you're going to, oh man, that guy, he's just going on and on and on. Okay, it's fine. We're going to catch you later. But those of you that are serious about being a researcher to make a contribution that is consistent with, not just consistent with, that is purely and explicitly the language and logic of Imam Deen Mohammed, you're in the right place. I got to kind of put that Moses meets Khizr on you. You have to have patience. But how can you have patience with that about which your understanding is not yet complete? So the idea here is we're spending the time on AM360 right now to be able to let people get, who want that, to get a very clear, a clear understanding. Well, I got to say it. I was trying to avoid saying a clear understanding, but in order for you to get a clear understanding of what we're actually doing, so that you'll have the level of patience, the level of competence necessary to make it work. Because we're talking about something that is intended to impact, indeed materialize and actualize the vision of Imam Muhammad in every dimension. I'll say it again. Education, business, politics, religion, socializations, civilizational development, all those things. This is all knowable. This is not something that we're going to be pulling out of air. It's already knowable. The point is we have to go to work and pull that material out. I'm in San Francisco Bay Area, as most of you know. The 49ers, the 49ers are named after the gold rush era. When people were coming to California there's gold in them Bar Hills, they were coming to get the gold. Well, that's the real situation with Imam Muhammad. There's gold, diamond, oil, as we've said, precious metals and precious stones, but we have to know how to extract them. We have to know how to mine that material. That's what the Social Life Project is about. So let's move on to the content. Cover some of the material that we covered last week, the last portion of what we covered. So we're going to go to the top of page 7. Those of you who have the material, again, aclearunderstanding.net, download it, follow it there. An example, reading from the top of page 7, an example of the comprehensive impact of this worldview, meaning seeing things through the lens that Imam Muhammad has provided by his teaching, by his instruction. An example of the comprehensive impact of this worldview can be seen in how the Imam applied the universal perception of human life, to educational curricula. Discipline and respect for moral order is in the nature of the true and real or Muslim life. Therefore, the Imam says this, quote, I think the disciplines that we want for a Muslim life or a real life, I think we should be conscious of those in everything that we are imparting to our students. We should be conscious of the need for them to have proper manners or to have the right discipline, end quote. That's March 4th, 2006 education meeting, Washington, D.C. So you start from the basis of knowing what the human life is, and that's what the sacred life is. What is the sacred life? The sacred life is the human life. And why is that the sacred life? It's the sacred life because that's the unique and special creature that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, pure, perfect, and most high, created and gave a place in creation superior to everything in creation. And it's a status that every human being seeks to grow to. So living the sacred life and becoming what the sacred life intends, living the life that Allah created us for, which is the way Imam Muhammad often puts it, that's what the sacred life is. Okay, first you understand what the nature of that life is. What's its origin, what's its destiny, how it grows, what inhibits it. When you understand that, that's fine. So now, once you understand the nature of that life, now when that life moves into education, what's correct for that life? What's important for that life? What's significant for that life? Well, one of the things, this is only one quote, 2 sentences from 33 years of teaching that Imam Muhammad has given. So this is not the only thing that he said about education, obviously. But you see and hear in that a critical maxim, a critical principle by which education in his logic should be guided. And that is disciplines. Okay, the right kind of this concept. So therefore, when someone in his community and with his interest and with his legacy in mind does education and writes curriculum and structures curriculum, they must follow, if they're following him, they must do as he said. Be conscious of those in everything that we're imparting to our students. So we have to be conscious of the need for them to have proper manners or to have right discipline. Okay, so therefore, an educator should have that in mind, that that's a critical thing. Moving on. So what's right for Islamic education in the worldview of Imam Muhammad is being conscious to incorporate the disciplines in everything that we impart to our students, because disciplines are an essential part of the nature of Muslim life. If Muslim life is the real life. This is what the Imam says in his quote. What is the real life? The Muslim life. And not just the institutional declared Muslim life, meaning that the only real life is one who have said Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. You know you're wrong. Imam Muhammad, no, it's the human being, because the true nature of the human being is Muslim. So we're talking about the nature of the human being. So you have Muslims by nature, right? And then you also have Muslims by declaration. Well, the real life, the Muslim life, is the sacred life, the life that's shared by all human beings. So don't be so narrow as to think that only those people who have declared there's no God but Allah, Muhammad is messenger of Allah, are the people who are capable of having the real life. If a person lives a human life, if a person lives with respect for that essential nature that Allah has created for all human beings, it doesn't matter what their label is, their reality is going to be one that is the nourishing and the flourishing of that original nature. So if their character is sound, their moral, the moral aspects are evolved, I'll say, I don't want to use the term just pure, because people take that to extreme too. It's morally sound, people of good character, people who are recognizing intelligence, people who are making contributions to society, people who respect mother, father, children, responsibility, the destiny of humanity, God, the ultimate judgment, etc. There are many people who share these values, and they're not necessarily Muslim, but they are living the real life. But the blessing for us as Muslims is that we're in a position to live that life consciously. We're in a position to live that life explicitly under God. That's really, really the special blessing. And that is where the statement, "Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrajat linnas," you are the best. Okay? And there's much meaning to that. On one level, it means you are the best because that's what you're made from. You're made from the best. You're made from excellence. Okay, that's fine. Which speaking to human excellence. And so whoever is in touch with that human excellence, then they are the best. And they are a part of that best community, because they invite to all that is good, enjoying what is right, and forbid what is wrong. So Muslims are not the only ones who do, declared Muslims are not the only ones who do that. But on the other side of it, it means you are the best because of the fact that you have been brought into the revelation. you've been given a conscious, and you've embraced the conscious example in Muhammad, and you have embraced the revelation of God that is explicitly for their purpose. Some people are doing it by nature. Some people are doing it by their civilizational development. Some people are doing it because they've had a fortunate history, quote unquote. But there are those who